Hello, friends. My name is Mike Adams, and with me today is Cindy Stafford. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Page, Arizona, some of the current events in Page, Arizona, and kind of see where the chat takes us. And at the end, I'm going to give you an aerial tour of Page, Arizona, starting in the late 1950s and working up through the early to mid 1970s. So it's all about history here at Mike's Damn Photo Journal. And again, you can find me online at mikesdamnphotojournal.com. That's not a failed attempt at me swearing. It's a website about Glen Canyon Dam and Page, Arizona. So it's full of history, it's full of pictures, it's full of, well, it's not full of videos, but someday maybe it will be. There's a few videos there, but it's mostly still photos that I've got posted so far. So join me in welcoming Cindy. Welcome, Cindy. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation, to seeing where this goes. Again, just informal. We don't have a script. We don't have an agenda. We're just going to talk. So Cindy, let's start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself, in case there's someone watching who doesn't know who Cindy Stafford is. Give us a little bit of your background, your history and Page, and then we'll kind of go from there. Sound good?
That sounds great. I have lived in Page for 18 going on 19 years. I first worked in the school system. I'm a speech and language pathologist by training, and my husband was retired already. So by the time I'd finished a couple of years, I wanted more time off in the less hot time of year. So I started looking at some other jobs, and I ended up volunteering at the Park Service at the Visitor Center at the dam, Carl Hayden Visitor Center, and eventually was able to get a seasonal interpretive ranger job, which I worked from May or April to September or October. And that gave us a lot of time off in the other times of year to do what we wanted to do, which was hike and camp and explore the area around here. And then we started getting into some historical stuff. So that's sort of how I fell into some of this history of Page, partly from the Park Service job, and partly, putting talks together and things, and then partly because we're members of the Grand Canyon Historical Society. So we started, both of us, my husband and I, putting together some historic talks and articles, writing articles, and he's written a book, and I helped him with that, and it's about the South Rim Cemetery.
Now, you spoke there recently, right?
At the Grand Canyon, or
Yes.
I gave this talk on Page, the history of Page. 50th anniversary is this year of Page becoming a city. So I was a member of the library board, and as part of the library participation in that, I offered to do some research and went through the old newspapers and put together a talk. And then I adapted it a little for the Grand Canyon Historical Society.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I enjoyed listening to that, and it brought back some memories too of Page. Having grown up there, we moved there, I think, in 1960, and I was just a young kid. But my dad was a pilot, and we lived at the airport. I mean, literally at the airport. We were right behind the hangar. In fact, I have one of the pictures I'm going to show, if I remember when I get there, is kind of shows our trailer a little bit. So there is evidence. There is proof that I did live there, that I grew up there. And it was a great place to grow up. It was a great place to live during those years. I saw the dam come up. I saw the lake start to fill. We would fish a lot in the lake and have recreation out on the lake. And, even before there was a Wahweap Bay, Wahweap didn't have water in it yet. We would take that long drive out to the boat ramp, and I got a picture of that somewhere too. I don't know if it's in this presentation, but yeah, what a great place. I have such good memories there. When I travel there, and it's been a few years. I think the last time I was there was probably when I was with you guys, and you invited me up to do that presentation. But every time I go there, I have memories on virtually every corner. Every street. I can go down the street and I can remember this and remember that, and it's so fresh to me.
It's changed a lot, but you saw the town rise too, pretty much from the ground up, as well as the dam.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I've I loved growing up there. It was a great place to grow up, and I have just really fond of the place. So after I listened to your presentation that you did, I contacted you and I said, "Well, we should do something here together. We should collaborate, as it were, and get something on video, which is what we're doing today." So what's what's some of the latest things going on with Page? You know, like what's the lake level doing these days? Last time I was up there, it was pretty low. You know, is it
Right.
still low? What's happening?
Three. Okay, it's not as low as it was 3 years ago, where I think the lowest level was elevation 3522. And last Saturday, I think I noticed that we were 14 feet above that level. And so probably we won't get quite that low by the time May, a little bit of snow melt comes, we hope. They're predicting it might be as little as we got last year, which I've heard the lake came up 4 or 7 feet.
Oh,
So
okay.
it puts us in pretty bad shape by the time the next snow melt comes, when we have a whole year where we're releasing water if we only get 4 or 7 feet.
You know, one
So
of the
right now,
things, I'm sorry, go ahead.
there's contingency plans going on, and the states are negotiating right now. I don't know if you've seen, they're in Salt Lake City right now. They are overdue on a new agreement, and the federal government, the Bureau of Reclamation, has put out a draft environmental impact statement with some options in it, ranging from no option, which everybody knows that's not going to be a good option for the future,
Yeah.
to maybe managing it based on percentage of what comes in over 3 years. Nobody wants to take cuts, but the reality is cuts are coming. One way or another, Mother Nature is deeming that necessary.
You know, one of the things that I saw too, which I kind of geeked out over this, you know, we're talking about the lake level dropping, which isn't a good thing. You know that right by the dam, just upstream from, I mean, just right there by the dam, where the old concrete batch plant used to sit, there was
Mhm.
that ledge that they had blasted out. And they made a ledge there for
Mhm.
all of that to sit
Mhm.
on, and
Right.
you know, the little train track and all that. It was exposed,
Yeah. Right.
and I'm kind of geeking out.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen that in since the '60s. It hasn't been
That's
there.
where we are. We are at the 60s, and this level hasn't been seen since the 60s when the lake first started filling. Yeah, it's kind of, it's exciting in one way. We can see 75% of the canyon right now.
Hopefully, I mean, I would really like to see that turn around. Remember, were you there when the water level peaked out? Were you living in Page
Mm,
then, back in like 80s, 81, 82, whenever that
no,
was?
we came in like 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I don't remember exactly what was going on. It's all kind of a blur. Plus, I was really young and I wasn't paying much attention. But you know, they were routing traffic across the dam there for a while. There was something going on with the bridge,
Uh-huh.
and the water level, you know, was getting so high right around that same time, and that same rough time period within a couple of years. The I remember a story that people were able in large houseboats to come right up to the dam and climb up onto the dam from the lake. I don't know if that's
I
true or not.
Well, I heard a woman say that someone held her by her feet and dangled her over the dam, and her long hair touched the water. So
Oh wow.
you hear stories like that. And I've heard people say, oh, my grandpa took his fishing boat up and stepped up onto the dam. So, I mean, there were times, and when they allowed people to come up close to the dam, when you could get much closer to the top than certainly now.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing. It was an amazing thing. You know, there was a real fear that the water was going to go over the top, and then you know, even though they put wood additions
Plywood.
onto the
Hmm.
yeah onto the spillway gates, you know, to
Hmm.
kind of postpone that as long as they could before they had to open those up.
Well,
And then you
the
know, on that left
plywood was
spillway, there was that. Go
uh,
ahead.
the plywood was temporary until they've put steel flashboards up. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, we've got photos of that.
And then when they started releasing water, at least on that left spillway, there was all that damage that happened down in there. So
Right,
that all
right.
had to be repaired. But yeah, quite
correct.
a deal. Quite a
Uh-huh.
deal. And
Have
Page
you
is
ever read
growing. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Ha Back to the spillways blowing out and the 1983-84 floods. Have you read Kevin Fedarko's book, The Emerald Mile?
No, I haven't.
You will love it because
Okay.
not only is it the speed run of three guys in a dory going through the Grand Canyon on the floodwaters, but it's about what was happening at the dam. And when Kevin came and gave his talk, at that time we were using the theater at the dam, he said at the end, I'd like to introduce you to two gentlemen in the audience. And two of the guys that stood up were the maintenance workers who put the plywood up. And
Really?
the whole crowd just, gave him a huge ovation.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
was neat.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that recommendation. I'll have to grab that book
Right.
because I haven't read it again. So
Yeah,
yeah, that sounds fun. Now, the visitor center. You're volunteering at the visitor center.
correct.
Again, I have fond memories of the visitor center. I remember when it was being built.
Uh-huh.
Originally the visitor center was on the other side of the bridge, the Page side of the bridge,
Yeah,
and it
just
was
a little
basically a
trailer or something. Yeah,
yeah, it was basically a double wide trailer.
yeah.
That eventually got moved up into town and sat right across from O'Neill's Richfield Station,
Mm,
gas station, right there by the football field, and
huh,
became Lark Center or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but
huh.
that visitor center, I don't know what it's like today. The last time I was there, it was closed, so I wasn't able to go
Oh,
in. But we had the dam tours back then were self-guided,
yes.
and I know they're not now. But
They
on a
don't
hot
have
summer
them
day,
anymore.
they don't have them at all.
No, they never brought them back after
Oh,
COVID.
oh
And now they say
no!
with their reduction in force that they don't have the security staff to handle it.
Wow, that's
I
sad.
know. We're really
There's
unhappy about it. Yeah.
there's so many things to explore down in that dam. Even on the floors you can go in for the tour. I mean, just the initial ride down the elevator.
Well,
You know,
it's so powerful to stand on top of the dam, look upstream, see the reservoir, look downstream and see the river. And really, with the issues with the Colorado River, I think it's really important that people be able to be at that place and they can more readily understand what's happening right now.
oh, I agree. Absolutely,
Yeah,
I agree. There's no substitute for being there.
right.
And like you said, standing on that dam is incredible. Um,
Hmm.
I actually proposed to my wife on top of the dam.
How neat.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a memory right there.
Right.
1974 is when that
Huh.
happened. So yeah.
Was she from Page?
No, her dad worked for Bechtel. Her stepdad worked for
Okay.
Bechtel, and
Okay.
they moved all around. But they were there because of the power plant. They were building a power plant at the time, and that's when we met. So
Okay.
yeah, she's not
So
from
that
there. She did go to
I'm
school,
trying to
high
think.
school there.
The human resources director for Bechtel, Dorothy Melnick, did you know her?
No, I did not.
Okay, she donated some slides, or we got some slides of hers, and she had worked for Bechtel. And I say
Okay.
we, meaning the museum collection at Glen Canyon.
Do you remember? I know you do. That relief map of the lake that was in the visitor center, the huge, huge thing that somebody built. I mean, it was amazing. I
It's Robert
understand it's
Miller.
not there.
It's at the Powell Museum, which is closed right now, and the building is for sale. They're going to
Wow.
move that map back into the Glen Canyon Conservancy store next door. They've been managing the Powell Museum and they still manage the archives. But they've hit hard times because I don't know if you know, the Powell Museum got flooded several years ago, right before the pandemic, with
Yes.
black water. And then in order to build the building back to, well, use current code for plumbing and electrical, it was quite expensive. And so now they're saddled with this huge debt, a small business loan, and really can't, they're underwater. So, they have to try
Wow.
to sell the building. So that map, though, is priceless and it is going to be on display once again back in their store, which is great. We have a smaller model. When they redesigned the visitor center, they built a small model so it wouldn't have quite as large a footprint. But that other one is hand carved. The guy's name was Robert Miller. Took him 18 months. He hand colored it. He used the colors that were natural from the environment. He studied topo maps. He went out to look places over. He carved it with dental tools. It's the foam from
Wow.
floral exhibits. I know, it's amazing. Yeah, and we'd
It
love
is
to go
absolutely
and
amazing.
look at it. When you go travel in the landscape, then you want to go and see where you've been and look at that map.
Exactly. And it's like it's to scale. I mean, it's just incredible. It's like you're flying over the lake when you're looking
Right.
at that thing, and it's huge. It is
Yes.
huge. So yeah, hopefully it'll get back on display soon.
Right.
People need to see that. I mean, to me, that's a real attraction. Do they still
Yes.
show the movies in the visitor center? Is that still a thing?
You know, they have had trouble with the projection, and so two of the movies are not part of the Park Service. I can't remember if they're Bureau of Reclamation movies, but anyway, our supervisor Jeremy was able to get one of the movies through Harper's Ferry. That's Park Service. So they are showing the movie called Desert Oasis, and it's shown on the hour and the half hour. It's 22 minutes long, but not the
Okay.
one about the construction of the dam, which is the most popular one. So we have to
Yeah.
direct people. There's some YouTube videos that are quite good. And I guess one of the tours of the dam is on a YouTube video as well.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I remember watching that movie over and over again on the construction. We'd go in there. I mean, hot summer day, you go in there just to cool off, and
Huh.
we're kids. Or I was in junior high at the time, probably maybe early high school, and we'd ride our bikes down there, and
Right.
we'd go hang out and watch that movie, and then take the self-guided tour down into the dam. And
Uh-huh.
my good friend at the time, Gene Legate, he and I were like joined at the hip in those days back when we were younger, and his dad, Gene Legate Sr., worked for the Bureau, worked down in the dam.
Okay.
And one time he took Gene and I down
Mhm.
in there. I mean, we boldly went where no one's gone before.
Right.
And man, it was amazing. The passageways that are down in there, the hallways, I didn't even know where we were most of the time,
It's like a
but there was
different
some
world.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah, you like
Did you
enter into
know
this different dimension.
did you know Paul Campbell?
I
Or
know the
his dad
name.
was a teacher. Well, Paul told me he worked as he was a sheriff. And then when he retired, he came and worked as a tour guide at the dam. And he told me that when he and his buddies were kids, just like you, but they would ride their bikes down and they spent summers running through the dam because it
Yeah,
was cool in there. That's just where they hung out.
exactly. And you could take the tour down through the generators and,
Mhm.
see all of that. And man, it was amazing. It was
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
we were lucky to get an off-route tour once. It had to be approved by the Bureau, and it was quite a few years ago. And Dwayne Berrier, he was an electrical engineer at the dam, and then when he retired, he worked as the tour guide. So he was our tour guide and took us behind the scenes. So that was very
Wow.
fun. Put our
Yeah.
hands on the turbines that were spinning and
Oh,
went into
yeah.
those spillway tunnels, and yeah, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. There's so much down in there that you just don't get to see in a normal,
Right.
just as a normal touristy
Now
thing, I guess.
now you don't get
None of it
to
now, I
see
guess.
the other. No.
Yeah. So we have our memories to fall back on. Hey, you want to do a quick aerial tour of Page?
Sure.
Let me let me put us on a different screen here. Looks like we're both there, and we got pictures.
Yeah.
What I thought
Very
I'd do is start. I've got 17 photos, and we may or may not get through all of them. But I just want to make a few comments about each one. A lot of the stuff that's going on in these pictures, I remember. I was paying attention, and I
mhm.
remember a lot of what was happening. And what I didn't remember, a lot of what I didn't remember, the gaps were filled in for me by others who are a little bit older and who answered some of my questions. And so These photos, these aerial photos to me are absolutely amazing. So this is Page, Arizona. And this one particular photo is, I believe, from 1957. So the town is almost there. You can see in the background on this one. And by the way, Cindy, jump in and comment, say anything you want to say while we're going through these.
Okay.
But you see the trailer courts beginning back there, up toward the top of the photo. That's where that was built for there's barracks and a cafeteria back there for the dam workers. And, it's just starting out. This area right here, you can see my cursor, right?
Yes.
Here's the airstrip. This is the original airport. This is where current North Navajo turns into South Navajo, right in here. And so the airstrip is right here. You can see a couple of airplanes down here. I accidentally put a mark there, sorry. But I don't remember this airport. I don't remember this landing strip. Again, we didn't move there till 60, so this was gone by then.
Okay.
But I find this absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That this was the airport. And again, this is where North Navajo turns into South Navajo. And so right in here is where the transit homes were. You can see that there's some building going on. There's some foundational work down here still on them. And so this is North Navajo, coming around here. I think this is Birch. And then this is this Date Street right here, I think?
Might be.
No, that's not Date. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, that's Date Street. And then Cedar Street is right here. And it's absolutely amazing. I think this is 5th or 6th Avenue somewhere. The school it will eventually be right over here. It's not there yet. The first school building, you're going to see in another picture, sat right here. 3 tin buildings, but it's not there yet either. I don't know if this is someone's house. I don't know. This is 1st Avenue. This is 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue. One of these is Gum Street. The other one's Elm Street. I forget which one's which. Gum, Elm, and something else. And then this is South Navajo Drive right here, which is going to go off the photo eventually and then come back around here. Fascinating picture. I mean, I could stare at this stuff all day. Again, I geek out over this, so that's just me.
What's at the top where it's all paved or smoothed off is, near the trailer court? Yeah.
I think that's where the rest of the trailer court's going to be, because that thing got huge. At the time, it was the largest mobile home park in the country once it was built. And I think that's the clearing off of it, which I don't, there's no detail. I can't really tell what's going on there, but this is the beginning of the trailer court. And, the business district was right here.
And Church Row is going to come in up there on Navajo, I don't know.
Yeah, Church Row is going to be up around here somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Chapman's Trailer Park.
Lake Powell Boulevard.
Yeah. So, Lake Powell Boulevard originally, we'll see it in another picture, was called 7th Avenue. I don't remember when that name was changed, probably in the 1980s. That name was changed after incorporation at some point. But originally it was 7th Avenue.
Right.
So,
and also 89L or something, like the loop from 89.
Yes. Yeah. That would be like over here somewhere. Yeah, and then it came into 7th Avenue, and then it's hard to see it in this picture, but it's there, or it will be. So anything else you want to bring up about this particular photo?
Just that I love the rim geology.
Yeah, Manson Mesa. This is Manson Mesa, right next to the Navajo Indian Reservation. So extreme northern Arizona by Lake Powell, Glen Canyon Dam, if you're not familiar with it. It doesn't look like this today. There's hotels and things you can stay at. So yeah, if you're planning a trip up north, and I do mean north, Flagstaff isn't northern Arizona, it's more central. Yeah. This is northern Arizona. So plan a trip up there. You'll love it. It's a great place. All right, let's see what else we got. This is a top-down picture. I'm sorry it's blurry. The original picture that I had was pretty small, and when I blew it up, it just got grainy. But let's talk about this one. Here's that trailer court. Okay, let me back up a little bit. This is US 89 coming into town from the north. So the dam is, down at the bottom of this picture, off the picture, but it's there somewhere. So this is 89 north coming in. The Glen Canyon Steakhouse would eventually be right here. This is the USBR warehouse, which is still there.
Still there.
And so this is 7th Avenue, again, Lake Powell Boulevard. And you can see it's still under construction up here. There's nothing there yet. If we come on around, this is Church Row, which then turns into 89 Loop, like you said. So this is 89. And after it leaves town at the other end, at the south end of the town, it's 89 again. But right through here, it's 7th Avenue, which now is Lake Powell Boulevard. Vista Avenue is going to be right along here. Not really there yet. This little building right here served initially as, part of it at least, was the post office. And this is the shopping center. Babbitt's was in here. First National Bank was in here. There's a gas station in here. And then most of the local businesses were right along here. And I've got pictures on my website, again, mikesdamphotojournal.com. If you want to see more detail on those photos, this was the business district. And right along here is where the barracks were for the workers. And this middle building was the cafeteria. And this is the trailer court so far. Now, eventually it's going to expand over here. And it's going to expand over here. But at this point, this is all we had. These streets were named alphabetically, A Street, B Street, on down to P Street. P Street was the last one. And the airport now at this point is down here. I don't know if this is it or if it's off the picture. I'm not sure. But that's where we lived, is at that airport. And this is about the same date, or a little bit later, probably a year or so later from that first photo that we just looked at. The MCS apartments are right here. They're being built. Again, that was Merritt Chapman Scott, the main contractor for the dam. And those were built by them for people working on the dam primarily. This is North Navajo Drive, or it would be pretty soon. And this is the hospital right here. Got a really cool picture of the hospital being built. I'm going to show you in just a second. And yeah, we got some houses going in again here. Not a lot happening. Not a lot there yet. This is a very early picture. So anything you want to comment on that or ask questions about?
Yeah, I have a question. I have always been confused and wondered, and I think there was a warehouse and a barracks also on the west side, on the other side of what would be the bridge and dam. Do you know anything about that? Okay.
Yeah, there was. I think there was a cafeteria there too.
Yeah.
And some barracks. And originally, and I have a picture on my website of it. I don't have it with me right now, but originally, right where the the trucks would bring the gravel over, the aggregate over, and dump into those, and all the hoppers, and the belts took all that away. There was a trailer court right there, a little trailer park right there before that stuff was there. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff over on the west side of the dam, a lot of it. And it was a happening place. I've got photos of those on my website. Again, mikesdamphotojournal.com. Can't plug that enough,
That's
So
right.
yeah, these are some cool photos. Let's look a little bit more. This is a little more recent, and we have living color now in this one, showing the red sand. This is where that airstrip was originally, right through here. And then it became, North Navajo into South Navajo. These are the 3 buildings that initially housed the school. It was right here, these Butler buildings. And so as we continue around South Navajo, these are the transit homes, which were temporary housing. Now there's, real housing along here. My dad built a house right around this spot right here. It's still there. And yeah. So if we continue on around here again, you can see we got a little bit of building going on. The roads are paved at this point, and at least most of them are. And it's starting to get a little more populated. Here's the trailer court. Thus far, you can see that it's already expanded over here a little bit. It's going to expand here, and it's going to expand there a little bit more. These are the MCS apartments. This is 7th Avenue, now Lake Powell Boulevard. And it comes down into US 89 and then takes off down toward the dam. And here's the USBR building. Let me see if I can zoom into this a little bit. Again, this is a newer program for me. There we go. So this is the USBR building. Again, the trailer court. The airport now is over here. The hangars are right here somewhere. And again, this is the business area. This is where the grocery and the bank were primarily. So I've got some other pictures that'll show more detail of that area. But isn't that cool?
It is. I recently read like a synopsis I guess the city put together. No, it was a assessment for some land that they're selling. And so it was quite a big document, and they were talking about the history of Page, and they referred to Page as a planned community, which kind of made me laugh. But
Wow.
it is. And really, it was a government town. It was socialism. It was government owned,
Yes.
although not exactly, because they gave permits. So there was individual businessmen, right? But it was controlled how many businesses could come to the town.
Oh, exactly. In fact, it was called Government Camp initially.
Right, right.
That's what it went by. There was a sign on US 89 on this side, when it comes off into the loop and you're driving up toward Page, there used to be a sign there, a big warning sign for salesmen saying, if you're coming into town to sell something, you need to get a permit first. And,
Peddlers, yeah. Solicitors,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, one problem we have currently is why did the Bureau of Reclamation or Merritt, Chapman and Scott build these streets so wide? Because it's really expensive to maintain them and pave them. Not to mention, it was built in the 50s as a car town. It's not pedestrian friendly. And so we're kind of left with this infrastructure that's very much 1950s. And it's, as maybe you've heard, that people have really protested with trying to limit the number of lanes in the street, that
right.
sort of thing, which would slow people down. So one of the problems we have is speed, because we've got these huge boulevards. Even the side streets are like 4 or 5 lanes wide sometimes.
Yeah, they are. They are. You're right. That's exactly right. I didn't think about that, but you're right. It is a 1950s town. That's for sure.
And it's expensive to maintain those wide lanes.
Okay, this is another late 50s photo. When I first got this, I thought, what is this? What is going on here? And then I realized that this is the hospital. This is going to be North Navajo, right along here. This is the this was the USBR offices initially. That building's still there. It's been a library.
Is that City Hall?
No, City Hall's the old Vostron building, right? It'll be like down in here somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, this is Birch Street. This is Birch Street, or it will be.
Okay.
And this is right on the corner of, not Birch, this is Vista. This is Vista Avenue. And Vista and North Navajo, that building is still there. It's been a zillion things through the years. It was the town building, I think, at one time before incorporation. Maybe. It's been a library. It's been, I think it was I don't know if it was a sheriff's office. I don't remember now. But it's been a lot of things. And again, on my website, I've got some close-up photos of that are just amazing. The resolution of those old government photos, this one included, was so good that some of them look like Rockwell painting, Wow. It's just amazing. So, yeah, so this will be North Navajo right here. This will be Vista Avenue. There's a church, I think, sitting right around in here somewhere. Of course, we've got houses on the rim here now. And I don't know what was going on down here, but I do know this. My friend Gene and I were exploring down in here one day. Of course, this is much later than this photo. But we found a mine shaft. I kid you not. One of us fell into it. I mean, it was like, it wasn't very deep, like ankle deep, but
Right.
we fell into that and we ran back to his house or my house and grabbed a shovel and came back. And we were digging out this mine shaft. It's still there.
Hmm.
And there were beams caved in. We found a roll
Huh.
of string. I wish I still had that roll of string. But yeah, just that's free information for whoever wants it.
That's
There's a mine
interesting.
shaft down in here.
What were they mining?
I don't know. I don't know if they were digging back into the rock, into the mesa for something. I don't know. It didn't go very far in there. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe 6 feet, maybe 8 feet. It was all caved in. You couldn't really get anywhere. But I guess now there's a golf course there, right? There's
Yeah.
there's golf greens right along through here.
Right.
But back then, we found a mine shaft. So I don't know what it was there for. So yeah, this is the hospital being built. And North Navajo, again, this would be like Gum Street or Elm Street. I forget which one's which now. And yeah, this is going to be Date Street right here at some point. So fascinating photos. Here's another nice aerial shot. Again, this is early 60s now at this point. This is a really good view of some of the houses that are going in. This is North Navajo right here, or South Navajo, I'm sorry. These are the transit homes, which were all along here and then all along this road. I don't remember the name of this road. US 89 loop comes in this way. You can see from here on it's paved, and it goes around to 7th Avenue, now Lake Powell Boulevard. This is the old X and Y school buildings. One of them is under construction here. And this loop right here would be where the buses would come and drop off kids, pick up kids, as well as moms and dads. I remember a lot of memories of my mom picking me up on this loop right here because I was in one of these buildings for the first few years of school. So, yeah, just another view, another perspective of what's going on here, of what's happening.
One thing is that I think this would show where our current library is situated.
Let me get in here.
Well, it
Look
would
at the
be,
resolution on that.
yeah, isn't that great? Huh.
So the existing library is where? Where is it? Is it over here somewhere?
No, back out again. So the one street you couldn't remember the name of is Aspen, and it's
Oh
across the
yeah.
street from Aspen. So it's on the lower, yeah,
So
right,
it's right in here?
kind of in there. And I don't know what all these buildings are that are in your photo.
Right here?
Uh-huh.
Those are trailers. That was
Just
a
trailers
temporary
for
trailer court.
housing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a nice picture of them that somebody took from this vantage right here, looking
Mm-hmm.
this way.
Mm.
I have a really good picture of that trailer court. So, yeah. I mean,
And this is before the bridge, because the bridge is not in the photo, I don't think.
exactly. Let me get up there
Might be
again.
able to see a footbridge.
Yeah, the
I think I
footbridge
do
was
see a
fun.
footbridge. There is. You can see the footbridge.
Yeah, it's right here, right?
Right below that, I think I see some horizontal line. Yep, right there below the canyon. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can see the keyways are cut in, or this
Uh-huh.
keyway is cut in for the dam. The gravel pits that are out there in Waubee Bay, people wonder how that gravel got there. There was an aggregate plant in what's Lakeshore Drive, I think it's called still, right?
Right. Right.
That was where the trucks would haul the aggregate back over here to the dam and dump it into the hoppers. And through a series of belts, it would get down to the cement plant. And away it went. I guess this is the cutaway from Beehive. It looks kind of funny in this picture, but
Right.
yeah. I mean, there's so much going on. There's so much, these really catch the moment,
Right.
it seems to me. And yeah, these are cool pictures. I could look at these all day. There's the hospital.
Right.
And there's that USBR building that I said became multiple things. But there it is. Looks like it's finished now in this picture.
Did you know Dr. Kazan?
Oh, I knew Dr. Gazan very well. He was our family doctor.
Right.
Yeah. I used to fuel his plane. He had a black and yellow Beechcraft, I think it was. And every once in a while I got to fuel it. So yeah, I knew him. He was a good doctor.
Of course, he
I went
died in
to
that plane.
yes, he did. I was part of the search and rescue on that thing. I wasn't a pilot, obviously, but I was in the passenger seat. But yeah, I remember flying over that site, and yeah, sad day.
It really was.
That's a cool picture. Let's go on, unless you have something else to add to this one.
No, that's good.
Okay, this is an aerial shot of Lake Powell Boulevard, aka 7th Avenue. US 89 from the lake side is coming up here. And this is a Glen Canyon Steakhouse, and right here. And is it the Glen Canyon Motel? Is that what it was called originally?
I don't know.
This is the old Vostron building, which today is City Hall, right?
Right.
Vostron was it was a business that did rocket components, back in the space race days. Say that 10 times. And yeah, that's what it was. But we come up 7th Avenue, Lake Powell Boulevard. This is the Page Boy Motel. This is Vista Avenue. And this is the USBR warehouse over here. Here's the bowling alley. Here's the original fire station, and on the back side of it was the ranger station, which we didn't have police then. We had USBR rangers. And
that's now the Grand Canyon Brewery.
Is it really? Okay, now I want to go to Page. I want to go check out the brewery. Yeah, so the road continues up. This slab that you see, let me zoom into this a little bit. This slab that you see right here was the original business district that had Babbitt's and a bank and a gas station. Now the Babbitt's is here at this point in this building. And these are some shops here that used to be along this business area, which is just off this photo. And here's the movie theater and the original post office. This is Rexall Drug out here by itself.
Yeah.
So we had the post office and Page Market eventually went in here. This is the second location of Page Market. Originally, it was over there by the trailer court. But we come up Lake Powell Boulevard. This was the Bottle Stop, which now is Sticks Market, I believe.
Right.
Right here was a Dairy Queen and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I was a cook there in my high school years, so that was fun. We had a Little League baseball diamond back here. This slab here served a couple of purposes. There was a little screen, outdoor screen, so it served as a theater, walk-up theater for a while. In this photo, I don't think it's doing that anymore. And it also served as a little dance hall, open-air dance place. So that was cool. And here's what was then First National Bank of Arizona. Here's the Empire House. Here's the MCS Apartments back over this way. Again, there's some more businesses up here. Here's the pool. Page had a pool, and it sat right here across from the Pink Sands. And here's the park, still there. Here's the brand new high school at this point. That's where I went to high school. It was in those buildings. And the football field, and then Church Row. These buildings here were teachers' apartments. Yeah, right around the...
Why'd they get rid of those? We need those.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but there were a lot of them there. There were a lot of apartments in those buildings. I don't know why they got rid of them. And I don't think Chapman's trailer court's here yet, unless that's the beginning of it. I'm not real sure, but it's not really there. This is the water treatment plant and another Little League baseball field, baseball diamond was right here.
Is that Dolan Field?
I know there's a Dolan Field. I don't remember if it's that one. Is it still there? Is that field still there?
No, but that's where the teen canteen was, right?
No, the teen canteen would be just off the picture here on the
Oh,
left.
well,
Here,
maybe
I'll
that
show
was
you.
Dolan. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's Dolan Field, but I don't remember which one now.
Okay.
I don't think this one's here anymore because there's a bunch of
Yeah.
businesses back here, I believe.
Right.
But there was a go-kart track right here, which was a
Huh.
lot of fun. If you go on Google Earth, at least the last time I went, and you zoom in on that area, you can still see a little bit of the pavement from the go-kart track. Kind of cool.
Hmm.
So let me see what else we have here. I guess that's about it on that one. Cool photo anyway.
Yep.
Here's another view of the same thing. This one's a little bit earlier because the business district is still over here. This was the bottle stop, aka Sticks. Phillips 66 was here. I think this was a Chevron station. Eventually there'll be a Circle K here. This is North Navajo. And Babbitt's is going to be built here eventually. You can see there's a lot of construction going on. This is that little outdoor movie theater / dance place. There's the Little League Diamond. Kiesling's Exxon. It wasn't called Exxon back then. I think it was called Enco. Their gas station was right here. Empire House is under construction, it looks like. MCS Apartments. There's another look at the pool, swimming pool, the park. Pink Sands was right here, still is. I make it a point to stop there every time I go to Page.
Is that RD's?
Yes, that's RD's.
Okay.
Yes. It was just called Pink Sands back then. Here's Church Row again with the teachers' apartments. And again, it's a little bit earlier than that previous photo. But pretty cool stuff. The museum would be down in here. And then off of this picture, there's more. I'll show you here in another photo.
So when you say the museum, you mean the Powell Museum?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that was the concrete lab. The Bureau's concrete lab.
Yes, you're right. I forgot all about that. You're right. Yep.
Because it didn't become the Powell Museum until like 1969, I think.
Yeah, it was after all the
100th
construction that ended, yeah.
The centennial of John Wesley Powell's trip down the river is when they incorporated.
Right. Another aerial view here. Got to bring this one in a little bit closer. Here's that go-kart track.
Ah.
Nice view of that. Here's that baseball diamond. Chapman's trailer court isn't here yet. There's that other trailer park. And X and Y buildings are here. The high school and junior high were all right here. This was the high school. This was the junior high. And here's the teachers' apartments. So we're coming up US 89. And it turns into 7th Avenue, now Lake Powell Boulevard. And there's MCS apartments. There's just a lot more built here now at this point than there was in those previous photos. But
And
yeah,
you can
here's
see
all
the
of our
bridge.
houses. Yes, you can see the bridge. You can see a little bit of the dam, I think. Let me get in there a little closer. Now you can't really see the dam yet, so this is pretty early. But yeah, there's that area you were talking about. You were asking about on the west side of the dam here. You can see a lot of activity there. There's a lot of buildings. There was a lot of warehousing. There was material buildings. There were barracks. There were a lot of movies and stuff filmed in Page. One of them that I remember most because I actually bought it was what was the name of that show where those two guys would drive around the country in their
Route
Corvette?
66.
Route 66, yes. Season 1, Episode 9.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Video. You gotta
Yeah.
watch that thing. The acting's cheesy, but man, and when they get down into the dam site, you're hearing all the sounds. I remember that. I remember
Right.
those sounds. I remember hearing those. And what a great episode, because there was a scene in the cafeteria that I think was filmed out here.
Mm.
And yeah, that was a fun show because there was so much history of Page in it. So Route
Right.
66, Season 1, Episode 9, that's where you want to be.
Mhm.
So Let me look at something here if I can bring this up. Okay, here's at the airport. There's the hangar. Back then, there was one hangar. I think this is our trailer right here. I think this is the hangar. And I believe that's our trailer. It kind of sat at an angle. But you'd look out the front door and you had a perfect view of Tower Butte and Navajo Mountain. They were right there, unobstructed. So again, this is getting where the construction's really booming on the power plant. And the trailer court, you can see, is expanded both directions. These were barracks right here. Barracks right here. They're kind of shaped like an H. And this was the cafeteria. This is where Warner's nursery would eventually be, Fred's Liquor. It's going to be right there. I don't know what it was back then. Maybe it was Fred's Liquor then. I don't remember. But pretty cool stuff. Again, this is Arrow Avenue, right? No, this is Arrow Avenue. Yeah, this is Arrow Avenue. And pretty amazing, the history of this place. This was a drive-in theater. Page actually had a drive-in theater. Out here was the corrals. A lot of people had horses. And the drive-in theater, this would be Vista Avenue. So just another way to look at what was happening there in beautiful Page, Arizona during construction. Anything from your perspective, Cindy, before I move on?
Well, our current ranchettes are where a lot of people have horses, and that would be on the very opposite side of town now.
Oh, really? Okay. So it'd be like over in here somewhere?
Yeah, below South Lake Powell Boulevard, off in that direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Where the old Vermilion trailer court was, or is. I don't know if it's still there.
Probably below there even,
This was the dog pound right here.
Mm.
And this over here was KPGE radio station.
I think the radio tower was still there when we moved here, and it's since been taken down.
Oh, really? Okay. So, pretty cool stuff. Let's see what else we have. All right, this is just another shot of that trailer court. Again, it hadn't been... Actually, let me go back one. You were asking about the teen canteen.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's it right there.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was over here. But maybe, yeah, I believe that's it right there.
It's close.
Yeah, that's a little bit of history there. Some of the high schoolers joined together to help build that, along with some adults. So, yeah, that was a happening place too.
Yeah.
All right. So just another shot of kind of the same thing. Again, you can see the bridge. You can see the beehive is cut off. There's the drive-in theater. The corrals are back there again. So kind of just another look at the same thing. And here's a different perspective on it. So we're looking toward the airport at this point, north to south. And big old trailer court. Here's the barracks again with the cafeteria. This was the original Page Market, sat right here. Here's those businesses that were all lined up in little trailers. You had a lot of businesses in here. You had the jewelry store, you had a men's store, you had a Firestone. A lot of stuff going on right in there. Here's the original Babbitt's and bank, gas station, all of that. And again, there's the USBR warehouse. I think Stromboli's, where does Stromboli's sit? It's either right in here? Yeah, it's right in here, right?
Or there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pretty cool. A lot of history here. A little bit of water damage on this photo, so I was glad I was able to restore it. I think the Legate family gave me this one. So, I don't want to bore us. bore us. So let me kind of move along again.
Sure.
Just another view. Here's those Butler buildings for the school. The new school is there. Different thing, different perspective, same information, Page Market, barracks, cafeteria, the trailer court, MCS apartments. Here's a view a little bit later. This is Lake Powell Boulevard right here, 7th Avenue. And these are, is that right? Wait a minute. Let me get a perspective here. Yeah. Yeah, so here's that gas station, I think is Chevron. This is the DQ. This is Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is the bottle stop. That slab that was back here is gone at this point. And First National Bank. You got the shops along here, the movie theater. Now this is all filled up. You know, Babbitt's is here. This is all filled up now. And a lot of changes going on. Trees are maturing. Houses are built. And it's slowly becoming a happening place, as it were. Again, this is post dam construction. The trailer court is in a process of going away, out with the old and in with the new. MCS apartments are here. And you can see that it's dwindling, but it's being rebuilt at the same time. When the population of Page dropped, that was a great time to be there and be a kid, because you could go anywhere. You could get away with anything. You could go anywhere. And we spent so much time out in this area when those trailers were gone. You know, things were left behind, and you could go out there and kind of scavenger hunt. And it was fun. It was fun for a little kid. I don't know. Maybe I was really bored. This is Vermilion. You talked about this a minute ago. This is down off the rim. This is 89 coming up into town. And that's I think the Catholic Church. And these old X and Y buildings are still kind of there. The high school's there. The Church Row is over here. But this is Vermilion being built, Vermilion Trailer Court. This started really when Bechtel came to town. And it became pretty much housing for them.
Now it's the Lake Powell Mobile something, but Lake Powell Mobile Home. Yeah.
Okay. And here's that road that comes into it off of Loop 89.
Cameron, I guess. Yeah.
My wife's parents, stepdad and mom, lived right here.
Huh.
A little trailer right there. So another view of the same thing, different angle. You can see it being built. It's filling up. And here's the road into Vermilion, called Vermilion at the time.
My house is just to the top of that photo in that Southgate subdivision.
Really? Yep. Like right in here?
Yeah,
cool.
Right in there. Yeah.
Wow. The times
right
they are
off from
changing.
Hall Road. So Hall Road is on the right.
Right. Yep. And eventually there's going to be a power plant back here on the horizon. Right. It was already being built at this point. So you can see Vermilion's expanding this way. They're building new over here at this point. Again, there's the cemetery. It looks really small. I thought the cemetery was bigger. But maybe it's just kind of the way it looks in this photo. So
shows you how big the trailer park is.
Yeah, exactly. Another view of the same thing. This one's got the dam in the background, though. Again, there's Vermilion. Here's the road in. New construction down here. And when we were first married, we lived right in here somewhere in Vermilion.
So the ranchettes are to the south of Hall Road.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they'd be to the bottom and further from this photo. Yeah.
Like further to the left here? Yeah. And you can see the dam back there. The construction's finished there. You know, that's kind of done. We're on to the next thing. They're building a power plant at this point. And I think I've got one more. Here's kind of the overall view, and I'll stop right here. This was 1973, how things looked in 73, and here we are. We've got it all. We've got Vermilion. We've got housing. You can see there's a lot of houses going up here. There's some starting on the rim. Chapman's trailer park is here. There's a water treatment plant and the infamous go-kart track. The high school. High school is right here. Junior high and high school. X and Y buildings are gone. They are a thing of the past. And there's the airport. Yours truly. The trailer court's being rebuilt into what it is today. And yeah, that's kind of it. How long have we been going? Man, we've been going
about
over
an hour. My comment about the airplane, airport, and the airstrip is that it's really neat to take off from Page. I don't know if you've ever flown from Page, but you fly right over the canyons and the dam, and then flying south to Phoenix or flying north from Phoenix, you're coming right on the edge of the eastern side of the Grand Canyon. Last time I flew, we flew right over the canyon, and we could look down on the North Rim burn scar.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my dad was a pilot. He worked for Royce Knight initially, and then he got a job for the Park Service. And he would always take me up with him when he would go flying. So I spent a lot of time in the front seat of a plane watching. I'm not a pilot.
You didn't get your license?
No, I was too dumb of a kid. You know, I had other things to do. So yeah, I kicked myself numerous times for that because he offered to give it to me. He had an instructor rating, so he could have taught me. But I was too busy being irresponsible, I guess. So yeah, so there's an overview of Page. You know, just
beautiful.
Again, anyone looking to travel north into northern Arizona, you don't want to miss out on this. You don't want to miss Page. Look how full the lake was at this time. You know, it's just it's a happening place. There's Antelope Canyon. It's all right there. So
now people are coming from Horseshoe Bend, and you didn't even mention that.
Oh, I know. That was the best kept secret for decades.
Right.
And then I have a picture of Planet of the Apes was filmed up there.
Right.
The original Planet of the Apes. I have a picture of Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowell, and two of the apes. Or two of the other apes. And the woman that played on there, I don't remember her name. They're standing right by Horseshoe Bend.
Yeah.
You kind of see it in the background.
Yeah. It's a great photo. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember he was eating at the Starlight restaurant one day coming in. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, listen, I will let you go. And anyone watching, thank you for hanging in there this long. I really, really do appreciate you watching. I hope it wasn't, hope it kept you enthralled, so. And Cindy, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your time, appreciate you spending part of your day with me doing this. It means a lot, so.
You're welcome.
The next time I get up to Page, I'll reach out to you and, maybe we can say hi or something.
That sounds great. All right.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you all for watching. And Cindy, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.